My name is Virgil Clark. This is my sister Delores, Washburn. Our grandmother got us into making sauerkraut. We are of the Bohemian nationality. We're proud of our heritage like everybody else in the world should be of theirs. And we started making homemade sauerkraut when we were little kids. And so we just kind of do it the old-fashioned way. We enjoy that food, that flavor, whatever. So today what we're going to do here is we're going to make some homemade sauerkraut. We'll go through the process. And we're going to make 15 gallons. Our rule of thumb is 10 pounds of cabbage in the raw, right out of the garden. 10 pounds will make approximately a gallon of sauerkraut.
Correct. You clean it all off, you know, that's the coming out of the garden, and with all the rain we've gotten this year, the gardens have really splattered the dirt up into the cabbage, so you just keep peeling it off. And we have a bowl of salt water we rinse them out on, and they're ready to be cut into, slawed up into the cracks. Virgil got his cabbage just yesterday down at Kelowna.
Yeah, I've been buying cabbage from the Amish folks down there. They raise excellent produce, and so here's a head of cabbage, and here's the leaves on it. This one's nice and clean. We've had a lot of rain this year, so they can be dirt covered. So I'm going to take off the outer leaves. Cut it like that, and then I just remove these leaves like so, and so there it's almost clean, but I go one step farther and we'll call it the secondary layer, maybe, I don't know what you call it. I'm going to peel that off, and from there I got a little here. The cleaner's leaves I put over here, and we lay, after we've packed the cabbage in there, we put a layer of those cleaner leaves, and then we put the plate out of the microwave oven in there. Head of cabbage, I've cleaned the outer and inner leaves off, and
I'm going to try it and see.
we basically are at the center of the heart of the cabbage. We cut it. It's a little hard to, I have a machine, I got a lever mechanism on my other table, but I didn't set it up today. It makes it easier to cut it, because then out here's a piece of wood and I can just do that. Makes it a lot easier to cut. And you can see the heart, hopefully. And we're going to cut that out, because Granny always said that made the cabbage bitter, sauerkraut. And I cut in a V fashion. And I cut the heart out, as you can see. And you can't just push down, you actually got to move the blade. This particular knife was made for cut and prime rib. And I stumbled onto them one day at an auction, and I really like them. Okay, what helps is you give them some, and if they like it.
And free food, a hell of a meal.
Yep. And they're going to have, and as you watch, I got like 2 heads of cabbage in here. And in no time at all, I will have them heads cut off. The idea is to get a nice motion going. Go ahead, throw some more in there, and I'll just keep going. Another head, please. Perfect. Now it looks like there's no effort to this at all, but if you ain't moving. Okay.
That was amazing.
We'll find out in time. As you can see, I'm sprinkling dill on it.
Just the dill seeds.
Yeah, just the dill seed.
Do you want to put it in my hand?
Because actually dill is not
Oh,
ready
crush it.
yet.
We just lost a whole,
Yeah,
there's a
I see.
whole bunch
It's
there.
okay. It's okay.
Actually, dill's not ready this year yet. Here in Iowa, mine is.
Salt, the cabbage, and the dill seed together. And we will taste it here in a little bit after she gets it mixed up real good to see if we need a little more salt. Because as she mixes it, it will wilt. And it'll actually release the water in the cabbage.
There's a lot of water in here. Is it just from cabbage juice?
I added a gallon to start with. It makes it easier to do this process.
Okay.
I'm going to sample this. I'm going to add just a little more salt and a little more dill.
You can use garden dill too if you are lucky
Yeah.
enough to find it.
Now I use just dill seed, but Mom and Granny always use the whole dill plant. There's nothing wrong with that. But it's easier for me to acquire dill seed. All right, now take your fingers and spread your hands out and pack it. Just push down firm, slow and easy. Push really hard down. That's it, keep going. Hold it a little longer. Now, as your mother fills this and packs this, she's going to fill it right up to the top, to where when she pushes, it's level with the top or almost. Then from there, we'll add a few of these secondary leaves that I mentioned earlier that we'll say clean, not exposed to the elements out in the garden. You can push as hard as you want. And if you hold your hands, you'll notice it, they sink in.
Now you might drain off juice, right?
Yeah.
Because we do.
When we get an excessive amount of juice, then we'll take and remove that. I'll just throw it back in this 20-gallon crock, because that juice helps wilt the cabbage that we're going to slaw up here in a little bit. I'll see if I can't dip a little bit of juice out of there.
Want me to do it?
Your
Yeah,
quart
go ahead.
jar might work better, Virgil.
That's working fine.
All right.
Don't be afraid to push down on it. Everything.
If it runs over, it's okay. It's out in the garage. If it wasn't so hot out, we do it outside.
Right.
We try to make it comfortable.
Feel- I think you're doing good right there. Okay. I think it's getting packed pretty good. Now all you gotta do is just take these and kind of flatten them out. And just kind of lay them like that around the perimeter. They can actually come up a little, doesn't hurt them.
You rip them like
Yep,
that?
yep.
Like that?
Turn
Or
the other way,
Upside down,
yeah.
yeah.
Yep, perfect.
Put them on top of each other, like layers.
We're gonna put them around the perimeter about 3 layers thick, and the center 1 or 2 layers is all we need because of that glass microwave oven plate. Well, I think they're both the same, aren't they? Yeah. Okay. Now we're gonna take this microwave plate. This one happens to fit very snug. And we're just going to put her on like this. And is that the same plate?
Yeah.
Okay, I know what's going on. Put the weight on it.
I'm just gonna put it upright
Yeah.
so it doesn't roll over.
It'll settle a little
Yeah.
by morning, and then I will be able to get the lid under that upper rim. Do that. We do our process. This will age for 6 to 8 weeks. And then from there, we the stuff on top is spoiled, rotten material, and you got to remove all that. And I want to tell you the whole story because most people, if they've seen this, they wouldn't be too.
It's not appetizing.
Right.
It's
But
a
underneath
slurry.
it is the sauerkraut, just like you'd get from town, whatever. Except ours is far superior, we think. And
Better than Frank's.
right. So that's kind of how that all works.
I would estimate for a 20-gallon crock, you're gonna scrape off probably 2 gallons of old kraut.
Right.
Discard it, and then you have the good kraut, and you can tell just by the look.
In the field.
Good kraut, yeah, because it'd be mushy if you didn't clean it off good enough. But the good kraut will look nice and yellow.
Right. It'll be firm.
Yes.
Now we, one thing I do that Granny didn't have us do, I cut my cabbage when I slaw it a little thicker. I like it coarser. It makes it a little more crunchy when you eat it. And so that's another factor. But everybody does it their way. And I'm not saying our way's right. This is how we do it. Okay, so anyway, after we remove the debris on top and get down to the kraut, the finished product, then we put it in fruit jars, quart, 2 quarts, yeah, pints, and then we, in my case, I cook it to slow and easy, up to 6 pounds pressure, and then it's basically sealed after you take it out of the pressure cooker, you know. And then in theory, it'll last for years. The bad thing with sauerkraut is, back in the old days, they used zinc lids and rubbers. I have zinc lids here, but I don't know where to buy rubbers anymore. And so we use the traditional canning flat. But in 3 years, give or take, the salt in the cabbage will, in the case of some of them flats, start to deteriorate. So you're pretty safe for up to 3 years, and then after that it will start to deteriorate the lid and then it'll spoil. So the idea is to be generous, give it away to people.
That's
Right.
what we do. It's a lot of family members get the rewards, you know,
Right.
just tell them to return the jars.
Right. And
But it's a good family coming together. It's kind of like a reunion. You have a big food fest when you do it. And I went to Grandma's house. I can remember it when I'm 70 years old now. I can remember I was probably 5 years old doing it at Grandma's house every year.
right.
And it was never like, oh God, we got to do it. You love it. It's fun. You make it fun.
Yeah. And that's exactly right. My grandmother, I would make it with her intentionally. She was 70, 80 years old, and we always had to make sauerkraut together. And
You can show them what one
yeah,
of the
bring her
jars
over
look
here.
like.
Bring it over here, Winnie. Don't be shell-shocked. This ain't going on.
We like the wide mouth because you have to pack the cabbage. So you put probably this much cabbage in, and then you have a stomper. So you want to make sure when you have your cabbage in here and you've packed it, you have to have liquid in here or it's going to dry out and then it will spoil. So you want to make sure you have a liquid showing up here underneath this rim when you seal it. And you don't tighten it real tight, you just give it a little snug. Pressure cook it, and then when they come out, you want to re-snug it.
Yeah, tighten them up there.
And we always left our rims on, the rings on our flats. Some people remove them, but we always left ours on.
Yeah, so do I. But our goal when we make it, just like you folks here today, we like to get people who've never done it before. We like to let them taste our product, and if they kind of like it, then they're allowed to help. Like
That's
Wendy
what
found
these little
some.
stompers are.
These have been around for a long time. You don't get rough with them or you'll break the lid. All you do is just kind of press it down firm. That's all you have to do.
And these are authentic antique.
Yep, you just stick them in there like that. And it's a labor of love.